Before I finish reading the email, my agent has already pulled every prior conversation I've had with that founder. 3 portfolio companies that hit the same wall, and what actually worked for them. When my agent does anything, it does knowing everything I know, and that's the difference between an assistant and a colleague. Let me walk you through an actual day, because that matters more than an architecture diagram. While I slept last night, my agent processed my inbox. Not sorted it, processed it. It knows which emails are from founders in trouble, which are from people trying to sell me something, and which are from the 17 mailing lists I never quite unsubscribed from. The ones that matter are triaged with context pulled from the library, who this person is, my whole history with them, what they're really asking under what they wrote, and what that might mean for me. I wake up to a briefing, not a pile of emails. Before every meeting, a prep doc, who I'm meeting, what we said last time, what changed since, and what I should ask. Research I was curious about at midnight is finished by morning, and when something interesting happens in the world, my agent has usually read it, cross-referenced against what I care about, and filed it before I've had coffee. On top of this library sits my agentic coding framework, GStack, 123,000 stars now, which put it in the top 100 open source projects in the history of GitHub. And what's actually in the punchline of this whole architecture? It's mostly skill files, plus a browser that the agents can drive, pages of English, and a way to act on the world. Markdown, not magic. Fat skills, thin harness. Let me show you what a skill file is, because I keep saying this phrase, and I want you to see how unmagical it is. Here's a real one, lightly redacted. It says, when a meeting recording lands from Circle Back, transcribe it with speaker labels, pull out the commitment made, who made it, and the deadline. Cross-check every person named against the library and link their pages. File the summary here, full transcript there. If anything contradicts something we already believe, flag it. Don't overwrite it. That's it. That's a skill. It's a page of English. A smart intern, anyone really who could read, could follow it. And that's the test, actually. If a smart intern could follow it, an agent can run it. Which means actually a kind of profound thing. I know I caught a lot of flack for talking about this, but I think it's more true than ever, especially now. Markdown is actually code. If you can write clear instructions in English, you're a programmer. The compiler is a language model. And that's why it's not just for engineers anymore. At YC, our media people, events staff, finance team, people who never open a terminal in their lives are building skill files and scheduled jobs. One of our finance folks compiled about 100 Excel workbooks into a single app she built with an internal agent. She's not a programmer. She's a manager of agents now. Everyone is about to be. The most important question to ask here is, where is the computation happening? And there are exactly 2 answers, and confusing them causes every agent failure I've ever seen. Some computation belongs in latent space. Taste, judgment, reading what a human actually wants from a vague request, that lives in the model, and you steer it with a markdown file. And then some computation belongs in deterministic space, the arithmetic, the SQL query. For instance, the seating chart for what sessions you're going to go to today for your breakouts. All of that needs to be stored in a SQL database used by the markdown files. Being smart about this goes a long way. Ask an agent or human to seat 5 people around a table. That's easy. Do it in latent space. Ask it to make custom schedules for 6,000 people in an arena, like we just did for you, and your latent space agent needs to write some code to keep track of it. Your experience at this conference had to be markdown files calling code in exactly this way. And you couldn't do it without the code. The model fails where we fail. The fix is having the model compute the way humans compute. The latent and the deterministic, markdown files calling databases and scripts. Simple, but it's what everything is actually built on. And I'll give you one more receipt, my favorite one, because you're sitting inside it right now. 5 days ago, I decided this talk needed Spinoza, one of my favorite philosophers, especially because of how canceled he got. So my agent went and acquired 3 of the best biographies about the man, books by Nadler, Goldstein, and Stewart, about 1,500 pages. It read all 3. It built me a synthesis, a dated chronology of his life, every place the 3 biographers disagree with each other, and the best verbatim quotes with chapter citations. And because it knows what I need, the 10 most tellable moments of his life ranked with delivery notes, the knife attack, the bribe, the desk. Every beat of our opening that might have given you some chills 20 minutes ago came out of that overnight run. 1,500 pages became a stage-ready story that I could edit. I call it a compendium skill, and I use it daily. It's a personal skill that is a mega version of deep research, only deeper than anything the corporate AI products will give you. The spine of this talk you're watching was inspired by the machine we're describing now. And if you're wondering where mine actually started, it was not 220,000 pages. It was a folder. It was a few Markdown files about the companies I was working with and the people I kept emailing. And the library got big the same way anything gets big. A little every day, compounding, with agents doing the filing. Nobody builds the warehouse first. First, you build one shelf. When you sit down with an agent tonight, you're not coding. You're managing a workforce made of Markdown. A skill file is an employee. It has one capability, one job, written down clearly enough that someone new could execute it. A resolver is an org chart. A task comes in, and it decides which Markdown file or who handles it. Which means that before you ever incorporate anything, before you have a co-founder or a logo or a deck, you can already be running an organization. An organization of one plus your agents. You are the founder, and the entire management layer of you incorporated, and the headcount under you is now whatever you decide it is. This already produces companies that break the old math. Emergent, out of our summer 24 batch, went from public launch to 9 figures of revenue in 8 months. When they crossed $15 million in annualized revenue, they were 15 people. Retail, winter 24, hit 60 million annualized with about 40. That revenue per person did not exist before. Not in software, not in oil, not in railroads. And these aren't freaks of nature. They're the first companies built natively on the new physics, and every one of them started as 1 or 2 people wired the way I just described. Now, picture our batch room in the dog patch, hundreds of founders, every single day, each one of them doing what used to be a person's entire year of work. That is not the future. That is the bar right now with this batch. If you're not doing it, your competitor is, and they will eat your lunch politely and thank you for it. It also changes what software even is. Software doesn't have to be precious anymore. You can build exactly the tool you need for the audience of one in a weekend. The old advice was scratch your own itch and hope it's a market. The new version is much better. Scratch your own itch, because scratching itches